Hey, I just wanted to pop on and talk about something which I've been working on. I don't know, some of you on here might know that I've been going through chronic illness. I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia over a year ago, but I think it's been going on for many years because my energy levels have always been quite poor. My joints have been quite painful for a long time. I've been very fatigued, doing stuff that normal people can get away with doing. I would be absolutely exhausted. I'd do too much. I'd have to spend days recovering, etc. So, basically I've been round the houses with doctors and consultants and stuff, and that's what they put it down to. I kind of think they were like, well, it's not this and it's not this, so let's just lump you in this category and this is what you've got. So I've been applying myself with antidepressants, anti-inflammatories, pain meds to counteract high blood pressure, medication to help me sleep because I was insomniac for a while as well, which totally screws you up. And I was just realising that none of that was actually addressing what was going on with me. It was just sort of masking it. And I suppose you take medications and they can interact with each other, and you can get side effects that are unwanted too. So none of it was doing anything really much to help. I was just kind of muddling through, or not, as the case may be. I'd be absolutely exhausted, falling into bed, taking the kids to school and basically falling asleep straight after, and just that's not use. That's not me. And obviously mental health goes hand in hand with physical health too, so I was realising that things just weren't good. I'd have flare-ups which really exacerbated symptoms which would last for months. Working was just not on the cards, things like that. And I'm only 43, so I shouldn't be. I just felt I was kind of on the scrap heap, and do I accept that hand that I'm being dealt, or do I do something about it? So I've been trying lots of things as well, like complementary therapies and things, like sound therapy, sound baths. That's was quite interesting. Oxygen therapy, which I can see its benefits and stuff. It did sort of help me sleep a bit better, sleep deeper. I had bits and pieces of cognitive behaviour therapy I was working on. I was doing some creative writing for wellbeing, just to sort of vent it out, just sort of get it out of my head. Mindfulness, occupational health therapy were working with me on sort of resetting my circadian rhythm, so getting my sleep back in order. So there's lots of things I've been trying, but nothing was really cracking it. Nothing was really sort of decoding. And so what I'm really on here to talk about is I've been seeing a kinesiologist called Robert Jordan, who works up in Caithness in Sutherland, near where I live. I can't remember how I came across Robert and his work, but I remember reading a bit about it and thought, well, it's worth a try. I found him really easy to talk to, quite understanding, and I thought, in order to get anything from this process, I have to go into it with an open mind. So if any of you do fancy giving it a try, which I would recommend, do go in with an open mind, because there's probably no limits to what you can achieve through it. It's just keeping that mind firmly open and being receptive to what happens and what's going to open up for you. So I've had 3-4 sessions now with Robert over the course of a few months, and quite a difference. Made quite a difference. I find him really easy to talk to. He explains things thoroughly and clearly, helps me understand about my body and the biological responses it's going through, and how my psyche is interacting with it and reacting to it. We're looking at sort of visual diagrams about how normal, neurotypical, normal scheme of things, how your body operates. It goes through day-to-day stuff, and it sort of, normal rhythms. And, you know, if there's a problem or if there's a perceived threat, your body goes into that fight, flight, freeze mode, which we've all heard about, we all probably know about when dealing with a threat. But then usually, once that threat passes, because our bodies don't need to be constantly in that state, it would pass back to your, what I now know as the parasympathetic nervous system. But because we're not cavemen, we don't need to be living under fear of everything. But I found out that my body was constantly, well, my mind was constantly stuck in that fight, flight, freeze mode. And it was putting so much extra stress and strain on my body's responses. And obviously, like the stress hormone, like cortisol, I've been doing quite a lot of reading up on it. And it was through the roof. My body wasn't getting the chance to recover and re-energise and replenish at all. Between it going from one, jumping into one, problematic situation, one threat to a next, or perceived threats, obviously not proper threats. So the pattern, my pattern, my rhythmic, flow, wasn't ever able to enter into full healing. So I was continually suffering burnout and like short circuiting in effect. I find the whole thing fascinating actually, once you delve into it and you're sort of understanding why your body's doing what it's doing. Yeah, it is quite interesting. So Robert works through kinesiology, which is your body's feedback response. And he uses a bit of hypnotherapy too, which is where deep emotional changes can happen. So he was able to take guidance from my higher consciousness through his processes. And in effect, he sort of handed control to the back part of my brain, the rational part, which should be able to suss out, your everyday stuff, you're operating normally, and take it away from the front part, which is the reactionary part, I did have some knowledge of neuro-linguistic programming before and how your brain, it is possible to rewire your brain, to retrain it. So I think that's what's happening with my mind just now. It's not a quick process, I don't think. I think it's a matter of it's doing its thing in the background, and gradually I should start to notice effects and things, good effects. And some observations that I've made is that inside my mind is actually becoming a really calm place. I've had years and years and years of having a really busy, noisy, chaotic mind. And I feel like some kind of order has been restored in my brain. My concentration levels are starting to go up. I'm not saying they're at their, best. I think there's more scope for them to go up, but that'll hopefully come. I feel like my movement, my scale of movement was quite restricted before, but it's starting to improve again. And the weirdest thing of all is that I've discovered I might actually be a morning person, which is big news to me because I've always struggled to get out of my bed in the morning. Like even in, my youth, obviously. As a teenager, you tend to sleep a bit more, but yeah, since then I've just, I now sort of like crave that early morning, carving out a bit of time for myself, setting myself up for the day, and what the day might bring, and actually getting a bit of excitement about it. Whereas before it was the feeling of dread, like I'm not feeling rested enough to tackle the day or whatever it has to throw at me. And obviously as a mother as well, you've got not only yourself to get ready, you've got your kids to get ready and all the challenges that has too. I feel like by understanding my symptoms, and Robert obviously knows how to interpret, how to decode what your body is telling you. I'm trying not to go back to like tracks of behaviours that have been long embedded for me. I'm trying to make new tracks, make new habits, healthy habits. It's not instant by any means, but it's slowly improving, I would say. So if you're someone who's maybe been struggling a bit like I have, or if you've got any symptoms or things which you think, you know what, I've had enough, I don't want to keep plying myself with painkillers anymore, it's just not doing it, then it's maybe worth a try. I don't think there's any harm in getting in touch with him to see if he can help, or if he can give you some guidance along the way, even if it's just for an initial chat to see what changes might be able to be made. I definitely think it's worth it. I'll put his Facebook page, contact details. I think it's Highland Health Alchemy, Robert Jardine, but I'll put a link on comments here. But I would say I'm still improving. I'm still making changes. I'm so much more aware of what I need to do. I've been making lifestyle changes too, which for me were huge. But we'll see where it takes us. So yeah, any questions, just pop them on in the comments. Okay, thanks, bye.